What if I told you, ladies and gentlemen, that the most authentic hip-hop love tale was based on a 20-year lie? What if I told you that Remy Huma wasn't merely concealing something? She named it. She held it up. Additionally, she gave Papoose the impression that he was the father of a child that was never his for 20 years. Because a sealed DNA test was leaked a few days ago. Let's just say that after seeing what it showed, even I would have turned to the camera and left the stage. Jason, we all believe that Papoose lovingly reared Ree's firstborn son, Scott, just like his own. As it happens, the real father is a well-known rapper who used to share bars with Papoose. And possibly more than just a microphone with Remy, face flushed. Papoose is now aware of it. The supporters are aware. And one question is circulating the streets. Who has been the father all along? Because the internet went into a meltdown that hasn't stopped since that moniker was dropped. This goes beyond simple treachery. Generational deceit is what this is. You won't ever look at Remy the same way when we're through. Let us clarify one point, ladies and gentlemen. This is not your typical scandal involving cheating. This is a single leaked document that combines 20 years of allegiance, silence, and falsehoods. Additionally, it has completely upended the foundation of the most acclaimed power duo in hip-hop. Because Jason Scott was Papoose's kid for as long as fans can remember. By bond, not by blood. Like clockwork. He dubbed him Young King, reared him, defended him, and shared old photos of him on Father's Day. Papoose was admired by everyone for acting like a true man. However, what if he didn't voluntarily step up? What if he entered a falsehood? Let's go all the way back to before the wedding, before the fairy tale, and before the narrative of Remy and Pap's prison loyalty. Let's discuss the current situation. Remy's mother made a choice that she believed she could carry into eternity. According to family sources, things were chaotic when Remy discovered she was expecting Jason. Incredibly disorganized. She was rising in the Bronx, fighting in a filthy basement, getting attention. And rumored to be embroiled in a complex issue involving two distinct men. Among them was a budding underground rapper who would eventually make his way into the mainstream. Let's just say that he has had numerous baby mama controversies of his own, as well as platinum awards and well-known feuds. We won't reveal the name just yet. Insiders claim that at the time, Remy never received a paternity test. She preferred quiet to mayhem. She spent some time raising Jason by herself. Then Papoose arrived, devoted, caring, present, and prepared to be the man the infant needed. And he turned into just that. Papoose proudly carried the title of father for years. Remy let him too. However, something occurred earlier this year. Something minor, inconspicuous, yet destructive. Jason had a family health concern that led to a hospital stay. Regular genetic testing during the procedure prompted concerns. Papoose was unable to avoid the questions. He approached Remy, according to insiders. She disputed it. He exerted more force. To silence him, she promised to acquire the test. It all fell apart at that point. Because upon receiving the results, Papoose was not the dad. The father who supported Remy through jail. Tabloids, rumors, and public disdain, and who remained silent while she was raised, had no biological ties to the boy he loved as much as his own. The most barbaric portion comes next. He supposedly knew all along who the real father was. Take a moment to process that. A hairstylist who previously worked on a Remy picture. Shoot claims that even the glam staff received tea in the gossip spill vibe. This under the guise of an uncle. The mysterious rapper was seen delivering Jason birthday presents, insert passes, and footwear. Please, uncle. More like a shadow father. Wait though, because according to the same source, this rapper made a covert attempt to get back in touch with Remy in 2011. Just direct messages, no pictures or interviews. And guess who supposedly never forgot seeing one of those DMIs back in the day? Yes, Papoose. It seems that he, at the time, let it go. Thought it was insignificant. All of Remy's words, messages, and delayed reactions began to make sense now, though. And everything fell apart when the DNA results fell into his lap. Papoose was reportedly crushed. Silent and hurt. but not irate or shouting. The quiet that only results from knowing your whole foundation was a lie. Don't get it wrong, though. He wasn't content to sit there and weep. Pap reportedly departed the residence that evening. Just keys on the counter and an "I'm done, Remy" expression, no baggage, no farewell. She seemed emotionless. She was aware that this day might arrive, not because she didn't care. Why now then? Why would the truth now be revealed after all these years? It was the hospital, according to some. Some claim the real father has been working behind the scenes, while others blame it on guilt. He reportedly wants to take over, legally, as well as monetarily and as a name. He desires attention, and he's prepared to face legal action for it. We are not merely witnessing a covert baby daddy expose. Ladies and gentlemen, a custody case, a legacy battle, and a whole chronology rewrite of all we thought we knew about Remy Ma, her son, and the man we all thought was the model for black love are all on the horizon. Now, let's discuss names, because one name has now reappeared like a ghost from the past following weeks of rumors, erased tweets, and whisper campaigns on hip-hop Twitter. Fat Joe, a Bronx icon in his own right, was Big Pun's former protege. Yes, you read correctly. It was the same Fat Joe who introduced Remy. She was put on with Terror Squad by the man who did it. From 2000 to 2007, the man who called her sis on every song. Joe, the obese guy. For years, fans had made jokes about it, claimed that in some verses, Remy and Joe's chemistry felt too genuine. However, none had anticipated this until today, because a fan account discovered a clip from a 2004 radio freestyle where Fat Joe snuck a remark that seemed like a bar at the time, but now sounds like a confession only days after. The DNA result was made public. She didn't claim it, but I gave her the name, the flow, and something else. She's not claiming anything else. The streets are now interpreting the bar in a very different way. End family. Furthermore, it doesn't end there. Reddit experienced another leak. An old backstage video of the Terror Squad that shows Joe clutching a toddler. People are now saying that Jason was a toddler. Of course, there is no formal documentation, but the internet may ignite a fire without any paperwork. Comment sections were exploding. Forums melted. Individuals began gathering side by side. Jason and Joe's similarities. The way they bend when speaking, their jawline, and their nose. So y'all are telling me Papoose raised a mini Fat Joe and Remy never said a word? Was the headline of one widely shared tweet? And the responses are utterly barbaric. While raising his own child in her home, Joe has been referring to her as his sister. For this degree of composure, Pap ought to win a Peace Prize. I guess Remy was playing the long game. Fat Joe's own response, however, was the most significant. Considering whether it was stress, remorse, or sheer ego, this is what Joe stated when he went live on Instagram 2 nights ago. Man, people talk a lot. However, until the family brings it up, I never talk about family matters. I have nothing more to say. God bless you. Hold on, what? Don't deny it. There was no shutdown, only a smirk and some hazy wisdom. However, Papoose has yet to make any public statements. However, according to insiders, he hasn't been home since the evening he saw the results and is currently speaking with legal counsel. Remy continues to post regular stuff in the interim. Studio time versus throwback. The truth always finds its way into selfies with cryptic remarks and a smile. The nerve. Supporters feel deceived. Not just because of the secret, but because Remy created a whole brand centered on openness, enduring adversity with your significant other. Devotion, trust, and enduring black love. And everything now appears to be marketing. Fans of Papoose are incensed, claiming that he was used, degraded, and more loyal to Jason than his own father ever was. However, there are also Joe fans out there who are tossing curveballs. He's not running, at least. It's better late than never. He might be a true father now. Radio silence, Jason. With the exception of one hazy Instagram story from last week, in which he shared an uncaptioned picture of himself in the studio wearing a Terror Squad hoodie. Just an emoji of DNA. loud but subtle. The question now is, was this simply one of those trade secrets that everyone was aware of but was afraid to discuss? Because this wasn't a coincidental development if Joe has been reaching out, sending presents, and quietly showing up in Jason's life for years. This was planned dishonesty. Even worse, legal threats are already beginning. A leaked letter, which may or may not be authentic, guardianship modification effectively compelling the court to formally recognize his paternity. Why? Because he supposedly wants custody and rights. You did indeed hear that. This could be more than a scandal. Might become a removal. As well as Remy Ma, she may have to tell the world how she spent more than 20 years concealing the truth from not one, but two men. It's the quiet before the storm in the courtroom. All eyes are on the one person caught in the middle of this issue now that Fat Joe's name is formally in the mix and Papoose has vanished. Jason, the 23-year-old, has been keeping quiet, evading attention and media appearances, according to sources. However, he has reportedly been subpoenaed to testify in a private custody review behind the scenes. Yes, you heard correctly. This isn't just a family problem anymore. It's a legal battle, a gossip site with too much time and not enough chill claims to have obtained these documents. Retroactive recognition is what Fat Joe's team is aiming for. It basically implies that Joe wants the court to officially recognize him as Jason's biological father and grant him the legal right to financial and public recognition. Why now? Because Jason is supposedly going to start his own music career. Yes, in the background, he has been collaborating with Joe's camp, was connected to producers. According to rumors, Joe does not want the name Mackey associated with his alleged ancestry. What about Remy? That's where it gets really frigid. A voice memo surfaced last night, 17 seconds. Clear enough, but poor audio quality. Remy Ma is purportedly crying and speaking into her phone. To harm him, I didn't lie. I told lies to get by. And now it's all wrecked. In a matter of minutes, the voice message was removed. However, the internet never forgets. Every blog, from the Shade Room to Gossip Spill, Vibe's own TikTok, snipped, remixed, and shared it. There are disagreements among fans. Some express sympathy by claiming that it was a mother's error. Some people are brutal. You made it through. You made a sacrifice. There are multiple lies in this. Years of manipulation have led to this. Like a pawn, she let that man raise another man's child. Legal experts expect that Papoose may really bring a civil emotional damages lawsuit if Fat Joe prevails in the case. Yes, exactly. He may bring a lawsuit against Remy for willfully deceiving him into becoming a father. This is the first time in hip-hop history that a paternity dispute has escalated into a possible legal retaliation. And the anxiety is permeating the business. Artists are picking sides. One rapper from New York wrote, "Remy, my sister, but isn't what she has done wrong?" Another, a well-known colleague of Fat Joe, wrote, "This is the reason why men don't trust anyone." Papoose was entitled to better. You guys better leave Remy alone before she starts throwing hands. Cardi B even warned Liv. That remains a legend in the Bronx. The public is divided. There is anarchy on the internet. The man at the heart of it all, Jason, has yet to speak. However, based on he's thinking about changing his last name from Jason Mackey to Jason Cartagena in honor of a close relative. That's already clear to you. The final question is still open. What does Remy become if Joe is given fatherhood? Jason publicly changes his identity and Papoose is emotionally and legally erased. A manipulator, a mastermind, and a mother. That is the point of contention. And the whole truth is yet unknown. However, one, it's obvious. The family we all admired, the one that gave us hope for second chances and unwavering love, is no longer there. And we'll be here to dissect it all, whether it results in a reconciliation, legal action, or outright character assassination. Because there are only receipts in this story, not winners. They also received names, dates, and DNA this time. The only question now that the lies have been revealed, the DNA has been released, and the courtroom lights are rising is where does the story end? Does Jason take back his ancestry and change his name to Fat Joe's? Does Papoose return to court to make up for the years he lost? Or does he leave for good? As well as Remy. Is this the end of a career based on honesty, toughness, and unwavering loyalty? The whispers are audible to you. The receipts are visible to you. The storm hasn't even reached its zenith yet, we assure you, because there are new leaks, new perspectives, and new betrayals in this story every day. Additionally, the internet never forgets. Make sure to hit like, subscribe, and comment below with your ideas. Was Remy playing with her family, or was she defending them? Because this story isn't finished, that much is certain. It's only the beginning. Additionally, the gossip spill vibe will continue to leak until the final secret is revealed.